Hey, guys and gals. Good afternoon from Miami, where you've got, I guess it's tropical storm Nicole, not doing much damage to us so far. And looks like it's going to hit a little bit north. However, this has really mixed up a bunch of my plans. And I'm going to, at the end, ask for your opinion if you have one, because I've got to jump all on what I'm doing, which flight I'm getting on today and or tomorrow and Friday, because my plans were a little curveballed. In any event, I wanted to comment on the follow-up that I've had from my October lows, calling the lows in the minors, which is essentially what I did. And the confirmation that I was looking for has already happened as of yesterday. Today, if we see, this is it, if we see this down day in the gold miners and the mining stocks reverse into the close, if that happens, I will get bear markets overs are in for especially the gold miners. And then, but I think just the mining complex in general, gold miners certainly, the real true, store of value on this planet is gold. The miners have been bludgeoned along with everything else in terms of equities, and they've been in a 2-year bear market and have been just destroyed. And there's so much value there. There is so much upside opportunity, and there is the potential that gold mining stocks outperform virtually everything going forward through 2023 to 2025. We'll see. But the next bull cycle, my friends, is going to bring the heat. And we're used to it not happening. We're used to bear markets. We're used to disappointment. But I think we're on to something, guys. I think we paid our price. We're used to bear markets. We're used to disappointment. But I think we're on to something, guys. I think we paid our price. And it's time for Providence to show us the money. And I think it's going to happen. On to crypto briefly. I am going to comment on the Bitcoin debacle, FTX, Binance buying FTX. These are the number one and number two exchanges on planet Earth, by the way. The first of which, and the bigger of the two exchanges that FTX owns, same thing with Binance, international versus US. The US marketplaces that they have are dog shit, just like Coinbase in terms of the broad selection. I'm not talking about security or some of the problems we've seen at FTX. That's not the case at Coinbase, or Coinbase is a good exchange, but the real big money, the big money in terms of product that you could choose from to earn staking rewards in one place, liquidity farming, coin and token choices, and liquidity on those tokens has always been Binance. Binance is the spot, and that has changed for US investors anyway. No matter what happens with crypto, we should be furious. Like I put out a video, American investors should be furious about a year ago. That was about the fact that we were booted off of Binance.com back in the early days, January of 2019, when if you had that whole year to accumulate some of those smaller tokens and even just get access to those tokens in 2019 and 2020, people became very, very, very wealthy. When you saw $100, $250 billion market cap industry go to $2 trillion, that was predominantly done by people outside of America, because we have regulators that basically scared the shit out of Binance to get repercussed. So they store in the world except for North Korea, Venezuela, Iran, and the United States, basically, is what a lot of these exchanges still say to this day. With these, my thoughts even, and I'm not going to get into it much here. I'm going to do it on my other channel, which will focus more on crypto going forward. But these laws, these CCCPA or AP that's in the works right now in DC. I don't know what they're going to come up with as a final draft. I don't like it when it gets into the DeFi world. Okay, just keep your hands off of it. And all of you crypto people that are big thought leaders, and I'm going to see a lot of you this weekend down in the Caymans for the Real Vision Crypto Conference. You are pussies. All the people out there that are just saying, we need more regulation before this industry is going higher. You don't need shit in terms of regulation. You want another parallel universe with the CeFi, TradFi world? I'm sorry. This is not why Bitcoin was created. At some point, there needs to be privacy with funds and control of funds by citizens, period. There's no distinction made by the SEC or our government in the political side. They have no clue what the fuck they're doing, by the way, in Congress and the Senate about this stuff. It's hard to when you don't do your homework, and it takes a long time to really get it. But this is a big, big point in the future of these worlds. And I'm not going to capitulate because I think that institutional money is going to come in easier. And that might be true in the short term. But what's going to happen in the long term when CBDCs are online and the governments and everybody is back to this is all regulated and you got to go through our 90-year-old laws, the 1993 and 94 Securities Act laws to comply with bullshit about listing a token that's not even a security. To be a security, exchanges and all the crap they'd have to go through, in addition to what they already go through, we're already a regulated industry. Regulation didn't stop Madoff or Enron and a lot of the banks that overlever themselves. It just is not something that I welcome. And if our regulators made a distinction, though, between people like me who've been in high risk, learning professionally because I came from nothing. I dropped out of college and I took a shot. I got hired at a Wolf of Wall Street type firm spinoff. It was a boiler room. And I got my Series 7 and 65 there, thank the Lord, and realized it was a scam within a couple of months, resigned, went to a real firm, made 300, 400 calls a day. I've learned in this business the hard way by getting ahead, making money in stock picks, which I believe I'm talented at, and then getting my ass destroyed in private deals, venture deals, investment banking structures that I didn't understand the fine lines in, and took it on the chin again, wiped out. I was broke in 2009, completely busted. Yet again, I was broke after the internet bubble, after I made the first any decent money that I've ever had in my life as a young hotshot broker at 24, 25. Going into that, I've learned my lessons from licking my wounds. There's not a congressman or an SEC regulator or a state regulator on any level in the United States that's going to tell me about risk. You need to make a distinction between accredited, sophisticated investors. I had 6 licenses that I let go of to become a newsletter writer so I could talk more freely about information and my thoughts, and the disclaimers are all there, versus trying to be a broker within the system and manage money and not being able to say shit or do shit unless it's within these stringent lines. I still did well. It doesn't matter. I'll do well in any type of an environment. I'm not talking about my, essentially diminishments in terms of opportunities out there. I have a tremendous amount of them, and I'm grateful for that. However, the average Joe doesn't even realize that they missed out on trillions of dollars of wealth creation in 2019 until recently in crypto because the US government and the regs lump all of us together. A susceptible grandmother who doesn't know what the hell she's doing, from sharks and predators and celebrities who are basically going out there and promoting tokens and ICOs. Good. Definitely regulation is not a bad thing in its basic form. But who are you regulating for? Protect the grandmothers and the widows and the orphans, okay? But for the people like me that understand I can lose all my money and I'm willing and ready to take the risk, I want full access to opportunities as an American where these places don't need to be afraid of taking me. Anyway, rant done. We saw FTX and FTT, the token, connected to Sam Bankman-Fried's. His firm Alameda Research is a hedge fund. It's a prop trading firm. They've always had these crazy returns, and I wondered how the hell did they get that type of return on capital? And now I think, more clearly know that, when you're printing tokens for collateral and you own both firms, and then you're levering the hilt out of your prop firm, and we notice the leverage now at FTX buying up all these things like stadium rights here in Miami. I thought that was a big red flag. They did it towards the top of the market. Signal. And right now, today, the good news for crypto is I'm seeing a bunch of influencers that are throwing in the towel. They're done. They're feeling like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I've seen that quote a couple of times today. That's good news. Those type of things happen at bottoms. We might not be at the bottom yet in crypto, but it's not far off. It's either going to come in shallow order from the previous lows, which I believe was like in the mid 17,000s on a candle that happened months ago. We're either going to not go and grind a bit, lower. We'll see a rally, another pullback, confirming the low, and we'll move on. And it might not be a watershed capitulation. More likely, though, we're going to see a scary as hell capitulation, probably when Binance says we're not buying out FTX because they saw the books. And then people get, FTX and FTT, they're forced out of all their position. And then I think CZ and Binance will cover the customer balances, save the day, become the biggest exchange in the world, trigger, antitrust possibilities, because they will own a very big amount of the crypto market. But in any event, it's neither here nor there. That's speculation. We could easily see a flush. I thought we were probably close to being done, and everybody was going to be surprised that the lows were already in. But I would rather 12, 13, 14,000 on Bitcoin. It's not that much percentage-wise lower than it is today. Scare everybody out, squeeze the final nail in the coffin, and then I think that's it. And then we will be back into a bullish environment in crypto on top of gold and the miners. But make no mistake, gold, as I've said with industry leaders on many levels, many times in private talks, on public podcast interviews, gold is a store of value that's been here for thousands of years. What does that mean? Since the time in the generation that it matters the most is this last generation, since the boomers came on the mix, and since I was born in the 70s, born in late 1974, Richard Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard officially in 1971. Gold was $35 an ounce. Today, it's over $1,700 an ounce. So over 51 years, gold has actually returned near 10% a year. It's about 9.5 at today's prices, 9.3 maybe, annualized compound annual growth rate against the US dollar. Okay. You need $1,700 versus only needing 35 back in 1971 because of the dilution. It's an inverse mirror. Gold is to fiat currency. That's why it's trading at all-time highs against the weakest country currencies in Europe and in Russia and in Canada. Gold is trading at all-time highs. The US dollar has been strong against their fiat currencies, but not against the real, true litmus test of money, which is gold, which is not going anywhere. It is the safest investment on the planet. That's what I've been saying for years, even during the crypto move. And I'm going to end up publishing some of the things that I did when I was talking about taking profits on crypto at the all-time highs or near them, especially with our crypto subset group. But in any event, I didn't sell all my crypto then, but I sold a lot of it. And I sold a lot of these tokens that I had made over 100 times my money on. And I decided to do something, I think, wise instead of foolish this time in my career. I think it's probably age, wisdom, whatever it is, getting kicked in the teeth over and over and over and deciding, hey, is there a way not to? Yeah. Don't gamble when you go in and make a bunch of money on something. It's not all, you go in and there's times to go in heavy on high risk situations and in bear markets and in opportunities and value. And there's time to do that. There's also time to start to mitigate your risk and take it off and put it into safer asset classes, which I did in a big way into real estate, which that's down a good amount, not anywhere near as much as crypto. And I bought a lot of physical gold. Okay, a lot of physical, and some of that is gone too because I did it on. I had a lot of money on Celsius Network. It doesn't matter. We're going to get a lot of that back, but even if we don't, I've prepared for the licks in crypto. We're going to get a lot of that back, but even if we don't, I've prepared for the licks in crypto. The thing about Bitcoin is that it will be a future store of value, I believe. But that's not going to be until the thing is over $1 million of Bitcoin, and there's much more adoption. We're just too early in the cycle, and for the volatility, I want the returns. Either Bitcoin, this is something I still stick to in my belief system, is going to millions or it's going to zero. Okay. It's one or the other. It's either going to continue that adoption in crypto, like we've seen. Institutions have been coming into the market, regardless of regulatory framework that, talking heads seem to want more of in the US. I don't. My dilemma today, guys, if you have any comments in the in the next hour or so, I had an event, 2 events. I have 3 events that are going on and starting tomorrow. 2 are one-night events. One is the whole weekend, which is actually the Real Vision Crypto Conference in the Cayman Islands for members and contributors to the platform. It's I think it's going to be a very, very connected, high-end crowd in the cryptoverse, and it's a good time to go to that. And then I have a movie premiere that I half financed, a feature film called 115 Grains. That is basically, it wasn't done for profit because the movie business sucks. Could make one, but my foundation's initiatives is to basically help alleviate pain and suffering in areas that others are neglecting and or is really needed the most. That's why I fund dog rescue stuff in places like Venezuela, Haiti, really bad shit in the United States that people just don't want to touch because it's too tough. I like to do those things. And this is a situation that humanizes police officers and first responders. And I've never been like this big, pro cop guy, but, I've always been a rep in my life, even though I've not gone to prison, is there any wood around here? But, I've always, respected police, but when I was younger, I was a lunatic. So, I've not gotten to where I've gotten by just like going within thin lines of authority, meaning like, I got caught with fake IDs when I was younger, all kinds of crap to drink and whatever. So, but I've never been like a big, police, but I've really sympathized with them the last few years because a lot of them are good people, and the suicide rates in law enforcement have doubled in the last about 5 or 6 years because they're completely on the defensive with defund the police. Their abilities in a lot of major cities to even arrest people are gone. They're in trouble. And we need some humanization and doing it not with like a political message, but a human message. And I think that's going to go a long way. Anyway, the premiere, if you will, it's a private screening technically, is in Tampa, where my partner and the director and producer of the movie and writer reside. And that's going to be at the Tampa Theater tomorrow night. The gala that I sponsored for my foundation for dog rescue of a partner is in Hollywood tomorrow night. I had been basically planning on doing the Hollywood to get more influencers and possible celebrities on board with funding some of these nonprofits in areas that are underfunded. And then when I realized I had already booked a ticket for the Caymans on top of, because I can go from Tampa to the Caymans in an hour and 40 minutes on Friday and make the bulk of the conference in the Caymans and that movie premiere. So I flipped from going to the gala to going to Tampa and the Caymans, but I just found out a couple of hours ago the theater in Tampa is going to postpone the premiere tomorrow. So I could still make the gala if I get on a flight in a few hours or even later tonight at 9 and go to Los Angeles, but then it's an 8 hours of travel. I'd have to leave, turn on, leave at 1 in the morning tomorrow night to get to the Caymans tomorrow night and go to Los Angeles, but then it's an 8 hours of travel. I'd have to leave, turn on, leave at 1 in the morning tomorrow night to get to the Caymans tomorrow, Friday afternoon. What should I do, guys? I'm leaning towards saying, screw it, going to LA, getting in, doing the gala, getting on a plane, going to the Caymans, even though from Miami, it's like an hour and change direct, which I could do easily. And then we've got, this storm coming on site. So Tampa, for now and go there when we reschedule in a few weeks. But anyway, we'll see what happens. It's really just a huge blessing to have the type of options and things all going on, in one couple of days sphere, all starting on November 10th. I knew it would work out, and it's been curveballs, and that's why I don't plan much in my life these days. A lot of you know about my health. It can happen to any and all of us. And in any event, any votes, go for it. I'm open to ideas in the next 30 minutes. What makes the most sense? Anyway, hope everybody's well. We've got a fun and exciting and interesting time in gold, precious metals, and the mining stocks, as well as most likely, very likely, highly likely, big price increases in commodities like nickel and copper. That bull market continues. And then we are going to have the critical metals, which lithium's already participated. A lot of those mining stocks are going to come out of this gutter as well. And we are going to do very well for once, en masse.